I want to thank the ranking members for this important spotlight forum. And thank you to the witnesses for your testimony. I want to start off by addressing Ms. Johnson, just to say thank you for not only your bravery to share your story, but for the millions of people that you are speaking for that aren't in this room. I just wanted to sit with that for a minute, because one of my questions to you is that we know that 40 million Americans rely on SNAP every day. I can tell you personally, my family, growing up in Philadelphia when I was a little girl, I'm from Delaware now, I lived there most of my life, but we relied on food stamps for a time. And now I look at that time that my dad, who was the first to graduate from high school in his family, first to graduate from college, held a job, became a public servant, and now, because of the benefit of something like food stamps, raised 3 daughters. One is a professor, one is an engineer, and I'm a United States Senator. And so I want to thank you for what you're representing here. And I want people to know that the face of SNAP is all of us. It's all of us. I wanted to ask you, do you think, because part of the spotlight hearings that we're holding are to shine a light on what this Republican big bad bill or big bad betrayal bill, whatever letters you want to put out there, do you think that people know about this, that this is happening here in Washington, D.C.? That's the first question.
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Is the mic on?
Is it on? I can talk a little louder.
Yes.
I don't think a lot of people know that the benefit is at a point where it could be taken away. Because I was enlightened probably a couple of months ago, and then I noticed it started coming up a little bit more. Because I'm a mom, so I do watch the news, but I'm also a young adult, and my friends don't watch the news. So just being mindful that it's something that I do rely on. A lot of my friends, as young adults, we don't have food stamps. Because I'm a parent, I do, and because I'm working and I'm a student, I do. Right. I'm just glad that some people started bringing some type of awareness to me, because I just got my SNAP benefits. I probably only have had SNAP for like a year after struggling for a couple of years to get it, so.
Right. To the whole panel, are there ideas and suggestions you have for us, in addition to a spotlight hearing like this, that will really amplify and get the word out? And I would ask the whole panel.
I wanted to start by speaking to her situation. Yeah. 2 things. These work requirements that they're trying to enforce across more people would also likely kick her off of the program. We've heard what a hard worker she is, but she talked about her hours go up and down across months. So God forbid that she has 3 months in a row where she's averaging under 20 hours a week. Or worse, that she's too busy juggling everything to check in with them every month to certify. To say that she's not a hard worker, right, is just absurd.
And that's one of the myths, that people aren't working. Yes. And then what you do is you put restrictions on that make it harder for people to actually continue to qualify, and then they get kicked off.
Yes.
I was in the House during the Farm Bill. I was on the Ag Committee. And so I understand that's one of the ways, instead of, you add red tape. Yes. Instead of taking away red tape, which is what my colleagues say they're trying to do, you add red tape for people. And so then ultimately they get kicked off, and it's a time tax, it's called, yes, as well. I want to, and I'll get to each of you, but I know now we have some other members that have joined. For the over 40 million people who rely on it, we know that this has real implications. And I wanted to ask, under this proposal, any state with an error rate above 6% would be financially responsible for the cost of overpayments, including costs associated with administrative backlogs, technology challenges, or insufficient federal support. And this new standard would push an additional cost onto 43 states, again, impacting millions of small businesses, farmers, Americans. Commissioner Gwynn, can you discuss how SNAP error rates are measured and whether this measurement considers any systemic challenges like staffing shortages or outdated technology?
Yeah, I'd be very happy to do so. Thank you for asking the question. First and foremost, I think it's important to say that payment error rates do not measure fraud. The SNAP program, as determined by many external sources, has an extremely low rate of recipient fraud. So it is not wrought with fraud, waste, or abuse. The payment error rates measure the extent to which workers who are issuing benefits make mistakes, or perhaps recipients report information late. So it captures both overpayments and underpayments. States are already required to recoup overpayments. And the SNAP program already has a very rigorous quality control program as part of it that also includes major fiscal penalties for states that have successive years of high error rates. So in New York, I can certainly speak to the fact that historically, we have had relatively low error rates. We have typically often been below the national average. Right now, we are above the national average, but it is not due to lack of attention and diligence. As you said, it is largely due to post-COVID factors. So during COVID and after COVID, caseloads went through the roof. At the same time, counties and states were facing extreme workforce shortages, just like other businesses throughout this country. And so the combination of the two, along with our number one goal of getting benefits out timely, has contributed to what is an unusual, anomaly high error rate for New York and many other states.
Thank you for that answer. I have some additional questions that we'll submit to you afterwards.